All right. Paul Miller, Tom Davis back here with you for game number 2. 8-1 was the score of game number 1 here as the Knights dropped to 2-2 on the season. Penn State York picked up their first victory, but that's why we play 2. Gonna see a left-hander on the mound here for the Knights here in game number 2.
That should present the opposition with a different look to get things started here. I don't believe we saw any lefties last game.
It's going to be my brother, number 34, Justin Miller. Of course, no relation. Well, Tom, let's kind of decompress on after the first game. Edwards started off pretty shaky, and you got to give a lot of credit to Criswell, who came in and really silenced the bats of Penn State York. Of course, I think he might have been in an inning too long, but that being said, he was definitely a calming figure here. The bats just weren't alive, and we were on sort of the wrong end of some questionable calls, but some really tough breaks in the first game.
Yeah, some hard hit balls just hit right at folks. Some attempts to take the extra base, just being beaten by an eyelash on some of the throws. None of the breaks really went the Knights' way last game. Hopefully this game will be a different story.
Looking around the diamond, we got a few new players here. It looks like Finke will take over at first for Humes. Of course, Hoover will be at third. Looks like Zell at second. We've got some new outfielders in this contest.
Looks like Armstrong stays behind the plate.
Very interesting play there. Finke also a catcher. Obviously, Armstrong is a great catcher, but to have to catch 2 games in a row, that's going to be a challenge.
That's tough.
Number 11, Ernest, will lead things off here.
So it's 3:46 in the afternoon, and game 2 is about to start. First pitch from the southpaw.
Miller, low. Ernest walked, reached on an error, grounded out, popped out, and had a single. And that's going to be a relatively easy play.
I will add that the umpires for today's game did rotate. We do have a different umpire behind the plate for game 2.
Curious how that's going to play into it. It's always interesting how some different interpretations happen in terms of how different, strike zones are done there. Again, another pitch low. It's like Gornick here. Walked 3 times and had a single. Reached base 5 times. And Gornick's got one deep to center field, but caught. And a quick 2 up, 2 down for the Knights.
Fairly deep left center field. Gave that a nice ride.
Well, there's plenty of room out there. I got to tell you, this has got to be in the Eastern League one of the toughest home run. I mean, look, just for example, look at the height of the fence, probably a good 20-25 feet in dead center, all the way around to just east of the cheap seats.
Yes, and in the left center and right center gaps, we're looking at distance of 405 feet to the fence. And as you said, Paul, it's a very high fence out there, too. About 380 into the gaps.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very deep ballpark. And I mean, trust me, just from coming to see games over here, it's very rare, if ever, you see anything out to center field other than, just going off the wall if they're lucky.
Yeah, it looks like just the right field and left field lines would be the most inviting places to.
Yeah, I think that in the net, definitely better home run hitter's ballpark. Miller, that's going to get through the gap there, and that's going to be a base hit for Bayman. Gets him on base.
So a 2-out single.
Bayman a single, an RBI, 1 for 3. This is Carter Williams. Williams with the complete game there in the first game. A very impressive start there for Penn State York. Now he's going to come in and play the field and hit cleanup. So, I mean, he's definitely doing some double duty.
Gets the call in the outside corner there.
And that was a beautiful pitch. That's going to be straight back. And a quick 2 strikes here for Miller.
Quick throw over to first, but didn't look like he was going anywhere in that time.
.53 degrees here at FNB Field. That's going to be straight back.
That was one where we were thankful for the net.
Yes, indeed. That runs it to 0-2, 2 down. Top of the first here on game number 2. The Knights dropped game 1 8-1, and that's going to go right up the middle. And the shortstop will take that, and that will retire the side. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left, and we're going to go to the bottom of the first. It is 0-0.
Central Penn College Student Government Association is a voice for all students, those living on campus, those studying online, and those returning to continue their education. SGA is here to make your time at Central Penn College the best experience possible. You can contact SGA with any questions, comments, or concerns by emailing sga@centralpenn.edu.
Okay, we got Rubenstein here for the Penn State York team. Rubenstein from Hanover, PA, went to Southwestern High School, sophomore, majoring in business. Rubenstein has pitched so far, did start a game, and only went 2.1 innings with 3 earned. So Paul Miller and Tom Davis here as part of the Nightly News Media Club. We will be back here with you on all of the broadcasts for the remainder of the season. Just a couple of things I wanted you to keep in mind. First of all, there are a variety of other games here. In fact, Tom Davis and I will be back here on March 28th, March 31st, and April 22nd here at FNB Field. If you can't join us here, of course, join us live through Twitch and YouTube. But beyond that, we also have a couple of other contests down at In the Net in Palmyra. Please make sure that if you have any opportunity to get over here, that you do so. Free tickets, free admission, very affordable concessions.
Just a wonderful time here at the ballpark.
Absolutely. So keep that in mind, March 28th, 31st, and April 22nd here at FNB Field. Of course, Tom Davis and I will be here, but we're looking forward to having you out here. The big game, Tom, if you've got any people that are looking to come over to the park, April 22nd is when we're shooting for community night, meaning that we're trying to get as many folks to come out and support our Knights as possible. So keep those dates in mind. So Zell will be taking his at-bat, so he's going to be leading off for the Knights for both contests today. And obviously he had a great game first time around. Unfortunately, a big play where he got picked off in the 5th. Unfortunately, we were trying to get something going in the 5th, and he did get picked off, but he had a really nice game both offensively and defensively first time through. Big hook.
Pretty good take there.
Zell seems locked in at the leadoff position this season for the Knights.
Turned away from the pitcher on that. Another ball. So 2-1 count here to the leadoff hitter.
Zell coming in here 5 for 11 with 2 RBIs, 2 steals and 1 caught stealing, hitting .455 in the first 3 games. So he has had a dynamic start to this season. We need to get him going if we want to win this ball game. And that's going to be a relatively easy play. Over to second. 1 down on the 4-3 put out. Hitting second today is going to be Ryan Stevens. Of course, Stevens is one of those veterans coming back to the team that we talked about there in the first game.
Looking to get something going here. I think the Knights would want to trying to put some runs on the board early this time.
Stevens has a fantastic bat. Looking for him to get things going, though, like I said, and I mentioned this in the first game, Tom, coming into the game, 4 for 5, hitting 800 on the season.
Pretty impressive here in the early going.
Stevens did walk, called out for catcher's interference. So 0 for 1 in that first game. That catcher's interference play was quite odd.
It's one of the big plays that affected the Knights last game.
And especially because the steal, he was clearly going to make it into second. And that's a cue ball, but this is going to be a tough play. Well, relatively easy there.
Gets him by about a step.
On the 6-3 put out. 2 up, 2 down for the Knights and against Penn State York here thus far. Roman is going to come in. Roman's going to be in center field this contest. Going to be straight back. Nearly hit somebody, but fortunately they're okay back there.
And somebody has a souvenir.
I can't stress enough the turnout and the fans that we've had here. About 100 fans here today coming out on a Tuesday afternoon to celebrate this opportunity for the Knights to play here at FNB Field. And that one bounced. Rubenstein's looked good so far. Definitely a different approach than Williams had in the first game. Looks like to be a bit more of a finesse pitcher here, and maybe that could play to the advantage of the Knights.
Definitely more deliberate, takes his time.
And another ground out. Looks like he's a ground ball pitcher. I'm gonna call him out there.
Good job.
Throw did pull him off the bag, but nonetheless, that's gonna retire the side. No runs, no hits, none left. We're gonna go to the top of the second. It's 0-0.
Did you know that Central Penn College fields teams in 6 sports? In addition to baseball, the college competes in the following sports: men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, women's volleyball, and men's baseball. If you are a high school junior or senior who wants to compete at the collegiate level, fill out the recruitment form at www.centralpennknights.com.
And the Nightly News is super pumped to be a part of the athletics broadcast. Of course, this year I believe we did about 10 basketball games. On track to do another 10 baseball games this season. So definitely a big part of what we do with the Nightly News. Of course, you know, if you're a student out there or maybe you're a new student coming to campus or a family member, Nightly News not only has paid positions and potential internships, but also has plenty of other opportunities through our Nightly News podcast, our quarterly publication and online newspaper, as well as our athletics broadcast. So we are always looking for some additional assistance if you're trying to get some practical experience. And regardless of if you're a communications major or not, I've seen tons of advantages for students being a part of the club. Just as I think back to one of our former presidents, Parker Rose, was an accounting major and said when he graduated that the Nightly News was one of the best things that he did because it increased his writing skills, it increased his public speaking ability, and he credits the Nightly News with helping kind of break him out of his shell. So it doesn't
confidence booster.
Yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't just necessarily have to be communication students, but we would absolutely love to have you. Please feel free to email me at paulmiller@centralpenn.edu. Miller. I think Miller's going to be an absolutely huge addition here.
I agree. It looks very good here in early going.
All right, McNew, the DH, is going to come up to bat. Couple of flyouts and walked and scored in the first game. It's going to run the count to 2-1.
Let's go, Quinton.
The state has showed some remarkable patience today. Really working our pitchers, fouling off lots of pitches, taking counts deep.
Big cut there, and Armstrong hangs on. It's a 2-2 count. It's going to be out of play. Out of play there behind us.
So we've got a 2-2 count.
Nice pitch there, high. Had him chase.
Takes him up the ladder for the first out.
And I mean, as a pitcher, that is exactly what you're trying to accomplish.
Your right fielder, number 9, Jackson Williams.
So bring Williams to the plate.
Now you want to get through this first turn through the lineup. You want to get through without showing your entire hand as a pitcher.
Williams was 1 for 4 in the first game. I think that almost looked like a little cutter there.
Did. So you'll show him the fastballs. And second time through the order, start working in more of the off-speed and breaking stuff. Before long, starting pitcher's got a good outing there. The Knights could use one in game 2.
That's a shot to center, but looks like it's going to stay in play, and it will. And the fly out there quickly runs it to 2 outs. Just a little bit after 4 o'clock here this afternoon. Top of the second inning, 0-0. 54 degrees, a little chilly, little breeze, but all in all, for March, I don't think we can complain too much.
And it's an afternoon of baseball.
Absolutely.
25, Jackson Lazon.
So Lazon to the plate. A lot of familiar faces from the first game. Lazon did single and was caught stealing and also scored on a walk in the first game. Miller's got a nice, easy delivery. I got to tell you, he almost sort of reminds me of Carlos Rodon in the way that he pitches. Very, very smooth delivery.
Works quickly.
And he's got some velocity, and it's pretty relatively easy. And I think when people talk about easy velocity, it's just a very compact motion. You know, of course, you've got people like, Tim Lincecum, who have all of these bells and whistles in their delivery. And then you got people like Miller here, who's just fires and actually has a good bit of velocity to go along with it.
Yes, a lot fewer moving parts, as it were. Well, 2-out walk.
Even a guy like Max Scherzer has a sort of a lot of extraneous. Now, far be it from me to critique Max Scherzer on how he pitches, but he's got a lot going on. Like I said, when you see a guy like, I'm comparing him to Rodon here, he's just very straightforward. Even got a good bit of velocity out of the stretch. And 4 up, 3 down. While a runner did reach on a walk, Miller continues to pitch very well in the start of this game. So no runs, no hits, 1 left. We're going to go to the bottom of the second. It's 0-0.
The upcoming movie in the quarterly CPC film series will be the 2007 version of Hairspray, presented by Nightly News president Janelle Dulac. You can catch the CPC film series starring John Travolta, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Zac Efron on Friday, May 13th at 6:30 p.m. in the Capitol Blue Cross Theater. Get there early for a special presentation of the Student Keystone Media Awards to multiple club members. In addition, food and snacks will be available for a donation to support the Nightly News Media Plan.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this a little bit in the first game, but we are just so absolutely proud of being given these awards. So basically, while we have a second here, while the pitcher warms up, this is something that we do every year. We take anywhere between 6 and 8 of our best stories in a given year and do submit them to the Pennsylvania News Media Association for their annual contest. And now, keeping in mind, they have 2 college divisions for the 4-year institutions, over 10,000 or under 10,000. We clearly are under 10,000, but we are actually competing against schools that are as much as 9 times our size, have more amenities, more budget, more students. So I think it's a pretty major thing that we are able to compete with the likes of Shippensburg and St. Francis and Messiah and Slippery Rock University, Lock Haven. A lot of these are the schools that we're competing with. That all being said, we have done this for, I believe, since 2017, and Leslie Heimball had one before. This year we won 3 awards, which is really, really impressive. And again, Leslie and I's podcast, Nights at the Movies, won honorable mention, something we're very proud of. And Leslie also won for one of her stories, and our Layers of Community series won honorable mention for the diversity category. So we're very proud of that.
Excellent to see such a prolific club getting the recognition for some great things that have been going on for the past 6 years.
We're honored, and we're certainly honored to be here with you today here at FNB Field. Going to the bottom of the second, it's 0-0. Stephen Armstrong steps up. And I got to give Armstrong a lot of credit catching back-to-back games. Next time I talk to Stern, Coach Stern, I'm going to have to ask him what his thought process is about, because I don't ever recall seeing somebody catch both legs of a doubleheader.
Well, you're not likely to see that in the major leagues or the minors.
Good eye there from Armstrong. 1-1 count.
Bottom of the second, 0-0. Game number 2.
And he got a lot of that one. Unfortunately, just foul. That's going to be out of play.
Long way down the left field line there, foul.
Rubenstein, as we mentioned, definitely a different type of delivery here than Williams. A little bit more crafty, I suppose you would say.
Much more deliberate.
That one's going to be in the dirt. Ball to 2-2.
An interesting delivery on this pitcher, though. He really shows you the pitching hand. You got to wonder as a hitter if you're trying to zero in on what grip the pitcher's using. Watch what happens here.
You're saying behind the back, when he comes behind the back? Is that what you're talking about?
Glove goes away, and you can really see the ball in his hand for a long time.
That's really interesting. And it's a 3-2 count, full for Armstrong. That's going to be low and ball 4. Leadoff walk to Armstrong.
And the Knights are in business.
Boyer coming up here as the DH. Boyer had a rocket earlier with a single in game 1. So interesting to see. Let's hope we can get Boyer going. And he's going to take that first pitch strike. One of the first times the Knights have gotten the leadoff runner on base. I think that's what you were referring to, saying we're in business.
Yes. A left-handed hitter at the plate with a lot of room on the first base side, with them holding the runner close. We'd love to see a simple ground ball to the right side.
Big hook there for Rubenstein. Quickly to 0-2 on Boyer.
Looked like Boyer realized it just a split second too late. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Armstrong goes. That's going to go right between the first and second baseman.
The hit and run works beautifully, advancing the runner to third.
Armstrong looked behind him, made that play way closer than it should have been.
So now we've got runners at the corners with no one out. If you're the Knights, you want this to be the start of a long rally.
Adam Hoover comes up to the plate.
Nice long second inning would be just what the doctor ordered for the Knights.
Absolutely. Hoover did reach base twice in the first game. Looks like he's got a cheering section here.
They hoove him because they love him.
No outs, first and third. This is as much as the Knights have threatened to this point. Hoover with the bunt. And that's as good of a squeeze as you're going to see.
Looks like a sacrifice as well. The runner moves up to second base. It takes the double play out of the equation. Leaves a runner in scoring position with only one away.
Interesting call there by Stern, calling the bunt. And honestly, they didn't even try to come home. I think they were sacrificing the run for the out.
I think they were caught back on their heels on that, as we were.
Absolutely. A new player, Jafrandi Montero. 0 for 3 on a season with 2 strikeouts. The freshman from Lebanon. Big cut from Montero, comes up empty.
Knights are on the board. The first lead of the day.
With the squeeze by Hoover.
Long hold and timeout is granted at the plate.
Now, that could have been bad. Fortunately, only one out there, because if Boyer would have been going, that would have been a double play and would have ended this run. But fortunately, that was only one out.
Another interesting idea to try that play again. Unfortunately, the execution just didn't work out this time.
Finke 2 for 4 on the season. 500 average, of course, only through 3 games. Do those stats represent?
We would call that a small sample size.
And that's going to be right at the shortstop. Relatively routine play. That's going to do it. But the Knights do push a run across. Adam Hoover with the squeeze play puts the Knights on the board, and we are going to go to the top of the third. It's 1-0 Knights.
It's hard to study when you're hungry. The college pantry can help. Central Penn College and your Student Government Association are committed to ensuring that all of our CPC Knights have access to food when they need it. Requests are kept anonymous and can be submitted online. Look for the link under the Links section of Student Central or contact Lindsay Garber, Director of Housing and Residence Life, at lindsaygarber@centralpenn.edu.
What's interesting about the college pantry is, again, to your point, all anonymous, but you can use it multiple times in a term. And here's the big thing, Professor Davis. This not only is for our residential students, but also commuters, also online students. I've actually had some online students who were in need and didn't even realize that the college pantry was for them. And I just want to share with everybody that that you're able to request anonymously up to several times per term. And also, again, evening students, online students, residential, any student at Central Penn College is, the pantry is accessible to them. And I really hope, one thing I will say is I saw the basketball team had several sort of drive-in drop-off sort of things in the ATEC lobby, for lack of a better term. So they set up tables in the ATEC lobby and were able to raise quite a bit of food for the college pantry. So, that'll be restocked coming into the spring term. So students, when you come back to campus for the spring term, always check out Student Central. There's a link in there to request food. And again, it is available for all Central Penn students. Wonderful thing. Morgan Littleford, former SGA president, was actually the person who envisioned all of this, former corporate communications student.
I remember her well.
Yeah, left her legacy by starting that college pantry. So,
Up to
and
bat for Penn State York.
It's really made a difference in the lives of a lot of our students.
Absolutely. So Dyson will come to the plate. Only 2 base runners thus far against Justin Miller. And that's the pitch that continues to be on the borderline there that I think Miller's really going to need to get if he's going to go deep into this ball game. A little low for Miller. Seeing that sun peek out a little bit, hopefully warming us up a little bit. Crack to center, and that's going to get down. Dyson with the rope.
That was a textbook clean single up the middle. Line drive on a one-hop to center fielder.
So now the leadoff runner aboard for Penn State York. Ernest is going to come back up. He grounded out in the first to lead off the ball game.
Really try to keep the ball down here. Hopefully the Knights can turn 2.
And there's a bunt.
Perfectly executed.
Great play there on that sacrifice.
And that play right there is a good example of why Major League Baseball is making the bases bigger in the 2023 season, as well as you may have seen instances in softball where the first base bag extends over the foul line into foul territory. It's plays like that that make it obvious that something like that is needed.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty dangerous situation.
A second longer on that, and we could have seen a hyperextended arm on the first baseman.
Or worse, from the runner. I mean, I definitely feel for the defensive player there, but the offensive player has no idea where the ball's coming. You're just putting your head down and running. You have no clue where that ball is. You could take it literally anywhere. I mean, obviously the head area is probably the worst, although you have a helmet. But yeah, I think it's bad for both players. Now, I wonder to what extent at the minor league level they're going to make those changes as well. I mean, I know across the majors they're going to do that, but that also might affect us here because we're playing at a minor league ballpark.
Yes.
And that's going to the gap. That should get a run across. Big play there. He's going to stand up. Crossing the plate is Dyson.
And we are tied.
And that sacrifice bunt comes in as Gornick hits the double and drives in a run. That's going to be called a foul. 1-1 now. Game is tied. Runner at second, 1 down here in game number 2. Knights dropped game 1 8-1. And Miller has looked good to this point, but did allow that double there to Gornick. Bayman 1 for 1 this on the second game with a single in the first. Big strike there for Miller. And again, that's the pitch that Miller really needs. Just catching that outside corner. He's got a little tail away from right-handed batters. His fastball does have a sort of a tail to it, which again is why he needs to get those corner calls. Another great play there by Armstrong.
Good block on the ball in the dirt.
So 1 out. Ball and 2 strikes here to Bayman. Miller keeps an eye, and Bayman calls time. A 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the top of the third. Gornick with the RBI double. And that is going to be out of play, and it doesn't look like the Knights are going to have a play on that.
Just out of the reach of Finke.
Infielders. Big cut. That's going to strike him out.
Got him to chase a breaking ball there on the outside corner. Well executed.
That's going to bring it down to 2 outs, and Williams is going to be back.
Number 1, Carter Williams.
Carter Williams, a remarkable showing in that first contest, going the distance, only allowing 1 run. And really, again, there were some close calls and maybe some calls that went Penn State York's way. But let's be honest, I mean, he was dominant. Finke calls for it and does not get it, and that's going to let in a run. Those are the kind of plays that a championship team does not make.
It looked like he had it from the very beginning, but it looked like a last-minute indecision about which way to turn the glove. Kind of caught him. It should have been overhand, ended up being underhand.
Miller not pleased about the play there by Finke. And Stern needs to calm him down because there's still has to get number 26, McNew. Two-1 now. Penn State York with the lead.
Now with a runner at first, but there are 2 outs. Just needs to focus on the hitter at the plate. You do not want to make a mistake here.
Relatively easy play there for Zell. That's going to do it. Unfortunately, that error lets a run in, and that's 2 in for this inning. Oh, well, we're going to go to the bottom of the third inning, and it's 2-1. Knights trail Penn State York.
The Nightly News Media Club at Central Penn College is looking for new members. Members have the opportunity to get hands-on experiences writing for our student publication, The Nightly News, being a part of the Nightly News podcast, and being a part of our sports live stream broadcasts. Email Club Advisor Professor Paul Miller at paulmiller@centralpenn.edu.
Yeah, we're looking forward to putting out our new publication. That should be ready by the first week or 2 of the new term. always something that we're looking forward to doing. But really, the big thing right now is just these Knights baseball broadcasts. Again, we have several more broadcasts coming up. We'll be at every home game this year. And, of course, we'll be here on City Island Monday, March 28th, Thursday, March 31st, and Friday, April 22nd, as well as Friday, April 15th, as I will be down at In the Net in Palmyra. So 3 more opportunities of 5. We're playing a total of 10 games here this year at FNB Field. And again, Tom, I can't really, we again talked about this in the first game, and for those of you spending your afternoon here with us, we apologize if we're being repetitious, but just this opportunity today it's unlike any I've ever had. And, you know, again, maybe it could be a little warmer, but, you know, now we're just getting nitpicky.
Yes.
These have been great games thus far, very competitive. Hope to see the Knights catch back up here and you know, get a home victory here, but just the opportunity to be here is major for not only the team, but the college as a whole.
Could not ask for a better place to play their games. What an amazing partnership between Central Penn College and the Harrisburg Center.
Absolutely. All right, we've reached the bottom of the order as Brian Rodriguez comes to the plate. Rodriguez 2 for 4 on a season.
Number 57, Brian Rodriguez.
So as we start the bottom of the 3rd inning here, it's 2-1. Knights trail, Penn State York. And I'll tell you, Rodriguez, again, just knowing him from previous seasons, is one of the fastest players, not just on the team, but literally one of the fastest players in the state of Pennsylvania. I have talked to Coach Stern about Rodriguez's speed, and honestly, if he has a chance, watch his speed.
No surprise that he tried to bunt for a base hit there. Try to use that tool to his advantage.
And that's just over the head. He's making a pretty wide turn there. So
Nice base hit to get things started.
another leadoff single here, and again with some speed. This could be interesting. Zell up to the plate, grounded out in the 1st.
Now at bat, second baseman, number 12, Owen Zell.
Zell seems to be a stalwart at the top of the Knights lineup. And first pitch, Rodriguez goes, and he's in there. What did I tell you about that speed?
Exactly.
Pretty impressive.
Zell did show bunt on that too. Coach Stern not afraid to flash the bunt sign early on in this game.
I would say
Get some action on the base path, make the defense have to do some work.
big steal from Rodriguez. I like this 9-1 combination, which you see a lot of American League teams do, almost like a second leadoff hitter.
Now they've got a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Way inside. One thing you got to give Zell credit for, he seems like the type that's never going to have a clean uniform at the end of the day.
Very Craig Biggio-like.
Absolutely. You know who he really reminds me of with his swing? Neil Walker.
Neil, that was a good comparison.
Not even just because he's left-handed, but if you watch Neil Walker's swing, very much like Zell's.
So he showed bunt again. Maybe the hope is that he can pull the bat back and swing at drawn-in infielders who are suspecting the bunt.
So 3-0 count. I would imagine he's going to take here. And he gets the walk. Now we've got the first two batters on base for Ryan Stevens. Stevens, who I know is looking to do something here today. Unfortunately, Stevens did walk, but that major catcher's interference, and I know he's going to get mad that I keep bringing that up. But it was sort of a turning point in that first game.
It was. Good moment here in game 2.
None down, and is Stevens going to show bunt? Rodriguez I mean, this is exactly what you want. Two fast players on the base paths and one of your best contact hitters up to the plate.
Very sloppy play there. Almost a balk.
I'm shocked they didn't call that, but he wasn't, I guess he wasn't going forward.
Batter had
Steven?
fully turned squared around to bunt. First baseman was almost in his shadow.
High. I fully agree with the sacrifice attempt here, because if you get these two speedsters on, a base hit's pretty much an automatic 2 runs. However, with no outs, I mean, Stevens is a great contact hitter. Of course, you don't want to, risk the double play. Probably his best pitch that he would have had to bunt there on that curveball.
Would have been a difficult pitch to have bunted. But I don't know that he's going to get anything better than that.
1-1 count. We are in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's 2-1 York. And Stevens got the green light there and fouled it off.
Looks like a changeup on that pitch. Seemed just a little bit out in front.
Two-one Penn State York, bottom of the 3rd. Got Rodriguez at second, Zell at first, and Stevens up to bat with nobody out. And that is low. Runs the count to 2-2. Roman on deck. He's going to have an opportunity to do something. And he struck Stevens out looking. Roman up with 2 outs. And again, now we're in a situation where double play is in play. Roman game 1 flew out, reached base on an error and struck out. And of course had a major opportunity, and that big strikeout left a couple of guys on base.
If you can find that right center field gap.
And Rodriguez, now they got Zell hung up. And now he's gone. He stays. What an odd turn of events there. But that's what happens when you have
put the pressure on the defense.
It was a strange play, but that's what happens when you have 2 very, very fast runners on base. Basically, there's 2 stolen bases there.
Yep. Very smart.
So Rodriguez now has a single and 2 steals, Zell a walk and a steal, and now you get right out of that double play scenario that we just talked about.
And a base hit is likely going to score 2.
And quick time, Rubenstein looks a little rattled with these base runners, as well as the number 3 hitter for the Knights. This is Roman's chance here to break this game open somewhat. And that's going right up the middle, and you'll take that, the run for the out.
To an RBI ground. Boy, I got to tell you, I've been really impressed with the hands on the shortstop for Penn State.
So Rodriguez, I mean, that's about as good of a jaunt around the base paths as a solid single, 2 steals, and a run. So the fielder's choice there for Roman does get the RBI. And Stephen Armstrong walked and scored in the first. In the second.
Go-ahead run is about 90 feet away at third base.
And Miller, the catcher, has to be very careful that Rubenstein's pitch doesn't get away from him because Zell will score.
Easily. It's a little bit of a looping curveball there down in the dirt.
One ball, no strike, 2 out. It's 2-2 here in the bottom of the third. And he gets that call.
Another overhand curveball, 12-6. Once again, a lot of room straight back up the middle. Two-seamer gets away from him there, almost takes Armstrong's head off.
That's twice now that Armstrong has almost been beamed. Good thing he's got some quick reflexes, hence that's why he's behind the plate.
Indeed.
Rubenstein delivers. That's going to be outside, and Armstrong gets the walk.
I think he went to the curveball one too many times there, especially in that count. For your Knights, you're not complaining.
Hitter number 14, Zach Boyer.
The sun is oh so trying to peek out here just a little bit and warm Paul and myself up.
Zach Boyer singled in a second. I'm sure he's looking to get something going here. I think a base hit would go a long way for that in this 2-2 contest, but 2 down here in the bottom of the third inning. Tough call there, and I mean, a really tough pitch to hit for Zach Boyer.
That was down low. I don't think he could have done much with that.
Zell at third's got some speed with really pretty much anything. And that's going to go right up the middle. What a play by the second baseman. Robbing Boyer. Oh, no.
The first baseman,
Who
come on,
did
hold
it?
on to the ball.
And here comes another run. What a play. Boyer's coming all the way around to score.
Wow.
Honestly, I'm not even sure how to score that one in the book here.
I don't know if that was a throwing error or a fielding error on the first
I
base.
believe,
But then there were several other throws.
I believe there were multiple errors on that play.
And at the end of it, the Knights take a 2-run lead.
So Boyer reaches base on an error, and then there are multiple errors.
That one's going to be tricky to score.
Yeah, to come around on that. Nonetheless, Zell scores, Armstrong scores, and that one's deep for Hoover. Not quite. Well, he's definitely got the power to get it out
One
there.
hop right against the wall in foul territory, left field, about 325 feet away. Crowd here really getting behind Hoover. Two down, base is empty. 3 runs in for the Knights.
outside.
Looks like that caught some of the catcher.
Base is empty. It's going to be 4-2 here, Knights, on an unbelievable play there. And that's going to be through.
Boy, did he wake back nicely on that curveball and just slap it into right field. That
Well,
was an excellent piece of hitting.
I got to be honest, I think that what they were seeing both in the first game and this game was that these curveballs are effective, but very, very slow. So I wonder if Stern asked his team to, you know, kind of take that extra second if you're seeing a curveball and try to poke it into right.
Yep. Keep that front foot stride shorter, weight back, and just poke it into the opposite field. That was an excellent piece of hitting. Head coach came in just give the pitcher a little bit of a breather, I think, here. But if you're the Knights, you're going to turn up the heat, which will be just fine with me.
Montero bunted out to the catcher in the second. And that's going to be trouble. And that's going to get down. Another single there for the Knights.
So the Knights have 2 on with 2 out now. With a 5-2 lead.
So Rodriguez, Zell, Armstrong, and Boyer all have scored to move the score to 5-2. Still 2 down, but frankly, there's been 2 down for the last 4 batters.
It does appear to be a little stirring in the visitor bullpen.
And I got to be honest, he takes the hit by pitch. And I got to be honest, what I was going to say, Tom, was that certainly helps forget about the sting of that error back in the second inning.
Absolutely.
Actually, the top of this inning. And now we've batted around.
Of course, I think Hunter would say that one stinged a little more.
And that is going to do it for Rubenstein. He is responsible for the bases loaded as Rodriguez comes back up to the plate. With the score right now 5-2 with 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
They're going to make a pitching change.
And this is exactly what the Knights were looking for in this game after a, you know, so tough going, tough sledding against Williams in the first game. So Rubenstein is going to be credited with 2 2/3 and responsible for all 3 runs out there. Again, difficult to score some of these because when you have errors, of course, those are unearned runs. And again, Boyer's play earlier had multiple errors. So I find it hard to believe that more than even one of these runs has been earned at this point. But it's hard to say what the officials score, their thought process. Atkins is going to come in. Blake Atkins has not pitched on the season thus far. Hitting at a 455 clip, 5 for 11 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs, but has not pitched in a contest this year. And Atkins is going to be coming in here to the bases loaded, and Brian Rodriguez batting around with his second at-bat of the inning.
Knights would love to blow this one even open right here.
5-3 with 4 in. Takes the strike. 2 down, really anywhere is good for an out for Penn State York.
Corner infielders are playing shallow.
Big hook there.
That looked like a slider cutter.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely a slider, but almost looked like a slider curve
Maybe
almost.
it was a slurve.
Yeah.
Let's call it in the middle.
I mean, that's pitches like that's why Jamie Moyer was able to stay in the league for 25 years.
Exactly.
And Rodriguez stays alive with the foul. And, well, let's just be honest, what a better way to spend an afternoon, Professor Davis, than being here supporting the Knights.
There you go,
Big
Blake.
cut,
There,
and
there.
Atkins.
All right, let's get some back
curveball.
now. A lot of game
Disrupted the
play.
timing. Disrupted Rodriguez's timing a bit on that.
All right, well, what an eventful inning. The best inning of the day for the Knights. 4 runs pushed across. It's 5-2 as we go to the top of the 4th.
The Central Penn College app was designed with students in mind. The app brings the school to your fingertips and enables you to connect with the Central Penn community. Stay on top of your events, classes, and assignments with the built-in calendar function and get notified of important dates, deadlines, and security announcements. Make friends, ask questions, and access campus resources at any time. Search Central Penn College in the App Store.
Well, I always wonder, once you get warmed up, I mean, that last half inning was at least a half an hour. I wonder what impact that has on the pitcher, especially somebody who's basically been blown right through the order. Of course, the last inning was a little longer, but if you look at it, Tom, each inning, 4 batters, and 5 batters. So it remains to be seen what effect that has on Miller. Of course, he's now got a lead.
Yes, he's been sitting around for a while, but I think he'll take the 3-run lead.
I'll tell you what, and we've seen this a few times, Armstrong has amazing arm. I mean, he just threw that from his knees and would have thrown out almost anybody.
Very strong arm. Hence the name.
Williams up to the plate. And I see Armstrong directing traffic there for Finke at first. And that, a really nice dig there at short. But the leadoff runner is on with Williams.
Just a very long throw from that position to the shortstop. Great play, though.
I gotta be honest, you'd be hard-pressed to see any player here at FNB Field make that, including future major leaguers. Hopefully Miller can stay in good shape. That one's going to get down. So back-to-back singles there.
There we go, guys.
For Penn State York. No outs. First 2 runners on. That's going to bring up Miller, the catcher.
Very quickly, the Knights are in trouble. Lefty on lefty matchup here.
Miller 1 for 4 on the season, which leads me to ask this question. Now, obviously, and there's what a bunt. Nice play there. Obviously, I guess you don't necessarily know who's going to be starting, but I wonder why you wouldn't start catcher David Miller in the first game against the right-handed pitcher as opposed to against Justin Miller, the lefty, in game 2.
Yeah, very good point. Must be a matchups thing.
Again, and it's quite possible that maybe the pitcher wasn't named coming into this either, which is entirely possible. So second and third, a big out to get right here. Dyson singled and scored in the third. Again, leadoff run. There's a theme that we're seeing. The leadoff runners getting on and scoring, both for Central Penn and for Penn State York in the 4th inning. And Dyson does represent the tying run even after that offensive outburst for the Knights in the last inning. And that's right up the gut. Now, hopefully, because the runner had to pause,
Gets 1 run in.
lucky there that only 1 run scores, but now you've set back up the double play, so hopefully that's something. But 3 consecutive singles here.
Penn State is in business.
Now batting for York, left fielder number 11, Jacob Ernest.
Ernest back to the top of the order. Laid down a sacrifice and grounded out 4-3 today in game 2. Is now 5-3. And that's up the middle. And that's going to get down, and that'll score another run.
And just like that, we've got a 1-run game on our hands again, Paul. Penn State cuts the score to 5-4 in the top of the 4th.
And there you go. That kind of maybe answers that question that I had about Miller. Miller was cruising.
And that will be a pitching change for the Knights.
Miller not pleased, nor can I really blame him. He's going to get credit for 3 1/3. And he's allowed 4 and responsible for the 2 runners on first and third here.
And that spiraled quickly.
Again, back to the sort of common theme there of the lead-off runners getting on base. Now you're going to see Colton Zerby, a lefty.
Substituting pitcher number 13, Colton Zerby.
Zerby on the season has pitched 3 innings, allowed 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, and has not allowed a run, and pretty solid numbers. Of course, that's only 1 outing, but he's got a really nice delivery, and you know, that left-handed pitcher again coming in right after Miller.
Sounds like he's got some strikeout stuff.
3 strikeouts in 3 innings on 1 contest this season. And frankly, this is where they need him. They need a big outing here with first and third with only 1 out.
Tying run at third base. You do not want to see that run score.
I know we've been talking about it, but remember that the Central Penn Knights team will be playing many of their games here at FNB Field, the home of the Harrisburg Senators, the AA affiliate of the Washington Nationals. Join us at City Island on March 28th, March 31st, and April 22nd for doubleheaders each afternoon. Stay current with information about all of our athletics at www.centralpennknights.com. course, we will be here. Those days come out for a free afternoon of baseball, affordable concessions. Just a fine opportunity to spend a nice day at the ballpark for free. Big out here. Zerby comes in. And that one's going to be high. First and second here. 2 runs in, 1 down for Penn State York. That's going to get popped up, straight back, and out of play. Zerby, 1-1 count. A double play here would be huge for the Knights. Gornick doubled and scored and drove in an RBI back in the 3rd after a pop out to center field.
Time called at the plate here.
Zerby shaking off Armstrong, looking for the pitch. Comes with the fastball, and that's going to be drove to center field. Again, the runner had to wait. This is going to be a tricky play. And he's safe. That's going to tie the game.
It's tied.
Let's go, JP.
And that run will be charged to Miller. And still responsible for the runner at second. And that ties the game at 5.
Number 21, Cameron Come on, Cam.
Well, the Knights have to end this right here.
And that is exactly what the Knights were looking for, the double play to get out of this inning, but not before the Penn State York is able to push 3 runs across, but that double play was huge to get us out of the inning. We're going to go to the top of the 5th with the game tied at 5.
Calling all gamers. Central Penn College was recently accepted into the National Association of Collegiate Esports. We are now a part of the association that boasts more than 130 schools and 3,000 plus student athletes. If you have any interest in the Central Penn Gaming Club or the esports program, please reach out to club advisors Michael Picot or Donnie Lewis.
Nice to see that we have the esports team back in effect. You know, a lot of what happened, not only just with our club, but with many clubs, is where the 2 terms when we were online, a lot of the clubs kind of struggled to keep together, whether it was just from graduates or, you know, just general, a wide variety of issues. But it's great to see that the esports club is back and better than ever.
Very much so.
Well, Rodriguez, after batting around, did strike out to end the last inning, which means we're going to start at the top of the order. We'll see Zell, Stevens, and Romick. Atkins stays in the ball game, who came in relief for Rubenstein in the 3rd and managed to get out of that. Managed to get out of a clean inning last time. And Zell's going to come up to the plate. He grounded out in the 1st, walked and stole a base and scored in the 3rd.
For Central Penn, second baseman, number 12, Owen Zell.
Bottom of the 4th inning here. 5-5 tie ball game. Zell takes strike. It's 2-2. Excuse me, 2-1. Little low, runs the count to 3-1. And if you are Atkins, you do not want to walk Zell here with his speed. And that's exactly what he does. Leadoff runner reaches base again. The last 2 times that's happened for both teams, those runners have scored.
Now batting right fielder number 27, Ryan Stevens.
Stevens, this is sort of a forgettable day for Stevens. 0 for 2 here in the second game. But here's a great chance for Stevens to sort of get off the schneid today with a base hit. Zell is a huge player at the top of the order, not only with his speed, but he really does a lot psychologically to get in the head of the pitchers on the mound. And there he goes. And he's going to get another steal. That's his second steal on the day. 2 walks, 2 steals for Zell. So 0 for 1, but already scored a run, stolen 2 bases. So Zell, the leadoff runner, walks and now steals, now runner in scoring position for Ryan Stevens. That's going to get fouled straight back. It is 5-5 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The big hook there from Atkins is out of the strike zone. Atkins keeps an eye on Zell. And that one's going to be, might as well as good of a sacrifice. And they're going to call Stevens out at first.
That does advance the runner to third base.
Now batting center fielder number 37, Manny Roman.
Roman comes up to the plate, did ground out earlier, but has an RBI. So 0 for 2 in the second game of the doubleheader with a run batted in. He could do the same thing here. Only 1 down on the inning with a runner at third base. Really anything to the outfield. Zell's going to score with his speed. High for Atkins. This is some competitive games here today. Again, that first one was a little tricky for the Knights, but this has been a heck of a contest. Outside to Roman. Quickly 2-0.
Seems to be an ongoing issue with the scoreboard right now.
It's just nice to have a scoreboard.
It is. They seem to be fixing it now.
Going high for that one and can't quite catch up to it. Roman definitely looking to get off the schneid here in this second contest. Like I said, really anything to the outfield, fly ball or on the ground, is going to score Zell. And high and tight there, and Roman will walk. So Atkins, no outs. First and third for Armstrong. Armstrong, 2 walks, 2 runs. And the Knights only 4 hits.
Steven Armstrong.
But 4 walks at this point in the game. So Stevens did go down with that sacrifice. Zell to third. Roman on first with the walk. 1 down, first and third for Armstrong. And he's shows bunt. There's no one even at second base, so basically Roman just steals.
It was a gift.
I'm not even sure why the catcher threw. There was no one even covering the bag.
Now with 1 out, we've got 2 runners in scoring position.
Interestingly enough, Zell could have taken off and easily scored there. But
We'll bring
again,
the infield in to try to cut the run down at the plate.
and Armstrong
Cut it
to
down
deep. And Zell is going to get that. The sacrifice fly.
That gives the Knights the lead again at 6-5.
Armstrong now has scored 2 runs. He's, Tom, I think you'll appreciate this. He's 0 for 0 with 2 runs and an RBI is Armstrong. So 2 walks and a sac fly. Armstrong is in the running for player of the game without even registering a hit.
Amazing.
And Boyer gets into that, but that's just going to be popped out. And that is going to retire the side, but not before. The Knights tack on a run to now back in the lead as we go to the top of the 5th, 6-5.
Staying active just got easier. For those striving to be more active, our athletic department has recently launched Sir Will's Rec Rentals, a new initiative that enables students to borrow sports equipment, sign out basketballs, volleyballs, and more to use in our outdoor rec areas. Stop by the underground to borrow equipment for up to 7 days and get your game on. So the Knights regain the lead, 6-5, as we head to the top of the 5th inning. In a very closely played competitive game 2 here. The first game was rather competitive as well, though the scoreboard probably belies that fact. Central Penn Knights just did not get many breaks in their favor last game.
Our 3 batters.
We're just about ready to go here at the top of the 5th inning. We had a defensive change in the outfield, but I wasn't able to catch names and numbers. All right, well, here we go at the top of the 5th. First pitch on its way. That's taken for a ball outside.
Now batting
1-0.
number 1, Carter Williams.
1-0 on Williams. Lefty sets, delivers. Takes us to a 1-1 count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on the way. Swung on and cued to the right side of the infield. And pitcher flips the first baseman cover and completes the out.
Boy, that was a close one.
Yes, it's like there was a little bit of question about who was gonna field and who was gonna cover, but they worked it out there at the last moment.
Okay, so we are here. We're in the top of the 5th inning with 1 down. It's 6-5 Knights lead in this tight contest here. Colton Zerby has come in for the starting pitcher Justin Miller, who's got off to a really great start, but I don't know if he was sort of, I don't want to say shaken, but I don't know if he got out of his rhythm in that long 3rd inning. He came out for the 4th and just wasn't the same. Knights pushed 5 across, including a very strange play in which there were multiple errors. And Boyer basically went from an infield single, came all the way around, scored 3. One of the more interesting plays that you would see.
Now batting right fielder number 9, Jason Williams.
2 away now here, top of the 5th.
2 quick outs for Zerby. I like Zerby's windup as well. He's got a really nice, I'm trying to think of who he kind of reminds me of. I would say Mike Flanagan, but I think a lot of the people on the broadcast probably wouldn't even know who I was talking about.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
That's even a little bit before my time.
Yeah, mine too.
Maybe a little bit John Means-ish.
Perhaps.
Means obviously got a taller frame.
He was pitching today.
A little high there for Zerby and quickly 2-0.
Seems like the last few times he's missed has been up.
Well, the one advantage here for the Knights is obviously they don't have to bat in the bottom of the 7th if they're winning the game.
Yep.
So realistically, all they got to do is hold on in the top of the 6th and top of the 7th should they be able to get through this one. And that's a 4-pitch walk.
2-out walk doesn't hurt as much as a leadoff walk, but
Now batting
you just want
second baseman number
to get your Knights off the
25,
field and get them in.
Jackson Lazon.
Lazon walked in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 4th. So he's 1 for 1 on the day, at least in game 2. Big strike there from Zerby.
Gets ahead right away this time.
And that's such a key for pitchers to get that first pitch strike. Swings and a miss.
Foul tip into the mitt. So 0-2. See if he gives him the heater here, 0-2.
Every time I hear that, I think of Major League.
He did give him the heater, and he got him.
And they didn't even need that.
But they punctuated it.
4 outs in that inning. But Lazon strikes out to end the top half of the fifth. We're going to go to the bottom of the fifth. Knights lead 6-5. Just a couple of things as we close the day today. And Tom, you've done an unbelievably commendable job of doing the live reads today. Just a couple of things I really wanted to highlight. And that is, we are, for the first time as part of a new initiative with athletics, have really tried to put together something called Opportunity on Deck in 2022. Basically what this is ways for you to donate to our athletics department in order for them to get these jerseys and jackets and things, amenities that help our Central Penn Knights athletes perform their very best on the field. Of course, a lot of the organizations, a lot of the colleges who we play have definitely larger budgets and things of that nature, but I just want to point out that if you are interested in supporting our Opportunity on Deck, that's a way for sort of crowdfunding our athletics, if you will. You can go to givebutter.com/CPCdeck to be able to donate a couple of bucks here to help out our ball players on both, in all sports. So that was one thing I wanted to point out. And of course, keeping in mind, we talked earlier about the fact that we will be here 3 more times this season for a total of 6 more games that will take place on Monday, March 28th, next Thursday, March 31st, and Friday, April 22nd. That Friday, April 22nd is community night, where we are going to be inviting all of our Central Penn College stakeholders over here, as well as the community. So we highly encourage you coming to all of them, of course, but certainly putting April 22nd on your calendar for community night here at FNB Field. Adkins back out to the mound. The big hook to Hoover.
Gets the call on that one on the outside corner.
So Hoover had the sacrifice RBI back in the second, singled back in the third. I will say, though, at least today, Hoover's probably got the closest to a home run. It was just foul and probably about 5 feet short of clearing the fence.
He drove it a long way out there.
And that's going to be a tough play, but foul. I got to give a lot of credit. This was after last baseball season, but I had the fortune last May to do the CPC film series of A League of Their Own, and we had several of the Knights ball players out. Hoover was one of them. Came out and volunteered his time to be part of a wonderful night for not only me, but also several student athletes from Challenger Baseball, which I'm involved with, came out as well, and it was very nice to not only get to see the guys outside of the game, but also just seeing their care for others. It just really was touching, and both him and Ryan Stevens were there, and it was wonderful to have them.
It was a very memorable night on campus.
Right back up the box. Unfortunately, that one's going to go right back to the pitcher. Yeah, we had a pretty massive following there that day.
We did.
I would hate to say technical difficulties. Really, the difficulties were with the sun going down.
Yeah.
So we did move it to the theater. Fortunately, we had a backup plan. And
It's never too bad when your backup plan is a fully fledged theater.
Yeah.
Now batting number 30, Randy Montero.
So Montero singled in the third, so he's 1 for 2 on the day. Big cut. Can't catch up to it.
Behind on that one, yeah.
And while we appreciate you joining us here for our first broadcast of the season, Game 2, Knights fell 8-1 in the first contest. Lead here 6-5. 2 quick outs. Hunter Finke will come to the plate. He was hit by a pitch. Hit by a pitch last time. 0 for 1 this afternoon. strike on the first pitch there. Looks like Kohler is coming in on the on-deck circle for Rodriguez. Interesting play there because Rodriguez dynamic on the base paths back in the third when he led off with a single, stole 2 bases, and scored.
Another pitch high and tight there on Finke. You know he doesn't want to get hit again today, but he would also take it to get on base.
6-5, and what's interesting is Knights only with 4 hits, whereas Penn State York has 8. More of a defensive swing there than anything else, but that backs them into a hole at 2-2.
He had requested time, but it was not granted by the umpire.
That's the second time that's happened, I believe, to Finke today. It's outside, and Adkins labored for sure. That's where I was going with that.
Full count.
And struck him out.
Reached back for a little extra there, it sounded like.
Adkins retires the side, so as we move to the top of the 6th inning, it's 6-5 Knights. Should be an exciting final 2 innings. Colton Zerbe back on the mound. Just remember, the Nightly News Media Club at Central Penn College is always looking for new members. Members have the opportunity to get hands-on experiences writing as part of our student publication, The Nightly News, being a part of our Nightly News podcast, and being part of the sports live stream broadcasts. What's very interesting is we do have an online newspaper, which we publish several articles weekly, and then at the end of the term, we take our best articles from the term and put them in that quarterly publication. Of course, we also have internships, paid positions, as well as part of our athletics broadcast. We also have the Nightly News podcast, where I host a bi-weekly interview style show where we have students on, and we also have several students who start new podcasts on their own. Something we have coming up for our listeners this term is several of our students have sort of kicked off their own podcasts. So on the off weeks of the Nightly News podcast, you're going to hear some student-led podcasts coming up in spring. So we're looking forward to a lot of big things here in spring, including certainly the remainder of the baseball season. But the club, really, things can't be going a whole lot more better, to be perfectly honest with you, because we just have won 3 awards with the Pennsylvania News Media Association. And of course, this is our first broadcast, so several more broadcasts coming up. So we're looking forward to that.
The club is in excellent shape under great leadership.
Come on, Shane.
I take no credit at all. It's the folks that are a part of the club that make it run. All right, as we go to the top of the 6th, it's a very tight contest here. It's 6-5. Colton Zerbe still on the mound.
That's a first pitch strike. Fastball threw across his body to the inside corner.
So Holbert played the first game, but does pinch hit here against Zerbe. And this is sort of what I was getting at earlier, was that he's pinch hitting for Miller, who is the lefty, with Zerbe in the ballgame. That's going to be fouled straight back.
That would have been a skull breaker if we didn't have the nets. Well, the sun's starting to finally peek out here at FMB Field.
And we're up to a high of 54 today, so still a little chilly. But again, I mean, we're in the middle of March. I mean, we certainly can't complain that we're sitting out here watching a ball game today.
It's only going to get better from here.
Well, let's hope so. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Zerbe against Holbert. right at Hoover. What a play from Hoover.
Now batting number 7, J.P. Dyson.
Popped straight up. Finke cannot come up with it off screen. Big strike there from Zerby.
Big pitch, 0-2 count now.
Gonna be a little low for Zerby there.
The Knights are only 5 outs from victory if they can hold this lead.
It's gonna be a drive to left and a single there for Dyson.
Well, double play is still in order. For the Knights, would like nothing more, nothing better than that. Feel like double play depth.
Outside there for Zerby.
Imperative for Zerby to try to keep the ball down here to induce that double play. Get the Knights off the field.
Straight back. One ball, one strike here. Runner on first and one out. A little high.
Upstairs.
Zerby runs it to 2-1.
Ready for the 2-1.
Big strike there for Zerby.
Big pitch, big pitch. He'll take the strikeout or the ground ball here. Just not a ground ball to first.
Steve strikes him out. Big pitch there from Zerby.
We're getting a preview of the Mayflies here already.
I'd say. I was actually just thinking the same thing. Nice first pitch strike there for Zerby. And it is 6-5 here. Knights lead, top 6. This has been a tight one here But a huge strikeout there of Ernest.
Another pitch on the corner goes in the Knights' favor.
Gornick, the double back in the third, singled in the fourth. 2 for 3 on the afternoon with an RBI. So
an 0-2 hole here.
Definitely a dangerous hitter here, especially with the runner on. The runner goes, but ball is fouled off.
Trying to give that runner as much of a head start to possibly score here.
Can Zerby get out of this? Runner goes. That's going to be right to Kohler. Kohler is going to have the put out there, and Zerby gets out of another inning unscathed. We're going to go to the bottom of the 6th. Last chance for the Knights to put up some insurance runs. It's 6-5.
For the 6th straight year, Central Penn College earned the military-friendly school designation. Currently, Central Penn has over 50 students who are either veterans or who are active in the military or National Guard. The Student Veterans of America Club is accepting new members. Students must be veterans or active military to join. For more information about the club, contact Club Advisor Dan Garisi at 717-728-2367.
Well, it looks like Atkins is still going to be in the ball game here. Pitched pretty well so far. Came in relief of Rubenstein, who kind of got roughed up a little bit in the 3rd, but he put up goose eggs in the 4th and the 5th for the Knights. So after the offensive outburst of the bottom of the 2nd, the 3rd, and the top of the 4th, no runs have come across in the last 2 innings. That being said, again, this is Central Penn's potentially the last time to put up any more runs on the board, as basically if Zerby comes back in, and it appears that's the case because there's nobody down in the bullpen. If Zerby can close this game out, that would be a big victory here for the Knights. Again, the Knights 2-2 on the season do have that 5th inning stoppage of play early in the season against Williamson trade. I would love to get more insight over what is going to happen with that game, if it's going to be continued or not, but that remains to be seen. Hopefully we can update you on that before the next contest.
Well, here we go. See if the Knights can tack on an insurance run or two.
So Kohler does pinch hit for Rodriguez. Of course, Kohler played defense that last half, so we kind of knew Kohler was coming up. Atkins has pitched well. He's definitely has a different approach than Rubenstein, and a little bit more velocity, it appears like. But
yeah, it's almost like he's like, here it is, see if you can hit it.
Thus far, the Knights have not been able to do that. A couple of solid contact. Just catches the end of the bat. Kohler is going to be out in the 1-3 put out.
Just as I said that, he throws him an off-speed pitch and gets him to bounce out.
We're going to go back to the top of the order with arguably the player of the game here.
Number 12, Owen Zell.
Zell with 2 walks, 2 steals, 2 runs, 0 for 1 on the day. Very interesting that somebody who's 0 for 1 on the day has a shot to be the Nightly News player of the game. And there's that sun, finally, Tom, that we've been waiting for all day.
Right as it's about to set.
Yeah, right as it's about to set here, 54 degrees. But gosh, I'm just so proud that we were able to be here today. And right back up the box for Zell. And now Zell gets a base hit.
That makes him 1 for 2.
1 for 2 on the day. And again, this is a situation, Zell, I think, where he's most valuable.
Right fielder, number 27, Ryan Stevens.
Atkins not pleased that he's about to get pulled from this game. And here comes someone in from the pen. Atkins not happy. But he's done a good job. I mean, yes, he did allow a base runner here, but I'm actually really surprised that he got the hook. Well, Tom, as we kind of come into the final inning of play here, I know that we've said this before, and I don't want to be repetitive, but this has just been such an honor today. And of course, we have 3 more days out here at FNB and 4 more contests, potentially 5, depending on if we reschedule our last Saturday's game, which was unfortunately postponed. All of that being said, this is my first time ever calling a game at a minor league park. I mean, it's something really special, and it's something that I'll always remember. And frankly, I'm really happy that you're here today. And, this is certainly not our first time calling a game together, but it's been several years that we talked about early on in the broadcast, and it's like we never missed a beat here.
I'm very happy to be here with you again, Paul.
Hopefully some of the future games might be a little warmer.
Yes.
But that aside,
especially that late April one.
I hope so. Yeah, community night. I hope it's a beautiful sunny day, and we'll be here, right here with you on our Twitch and YouTube channels. Penn State York not giving up here. Only down 1 run as we are sitting here in the bottom of the 6th. And as Penn State York's new starter gets ready, we'll tell you a little bit more about him.
Warm-up pitches doesn't look too sharp thus far with his control. Maybe it's the nerves.
We've got Dane Yorkovic, a 45 ERA on the season, 1 inning pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned. So clearly, earlier in the season, he must have had a bad outing. Not necessarily the person he probably wants to come in and face here with Stevens.
He throws a first pitch strike. That's the call.
Stevens had a sacrifice, a strikeout, so he's going to be 0 for 2 on the day in game 2 here. And Zell goes. And he's going to get the 3rd steal of the day. I mean, you can't do much better than that. Yes, he didn't get on at the beginning of the game, but walked and stole and scored. Walked and stole and scored. Now he has single and a steal. Can we push this run across? And I got to tell you, this second run here with Zell, that Zell represents, is absolutely massive for the Knights going into the bottom of the 7th.
Crucial insurance run, needing only 3 outs.
Stevens does manage to make contact there.
He looked very fooled by that pitch, but he did manage to spoil it.
And that's going right back up the box, and he's going to get down for a base hit. Zell comes home, and he's going to get in standing, and that's going to take it to 7-5.
Nice to get that insurance run pretty quickly here. It's still in business with the runner at first.
And Stevens with a single and an RBI here. Gives Roman an opportunity here to do something. Definitely not what Roman hoped that he would encounter here with today. Struck out in game 1 with a couple of runners on base and flew out twice. Did have an RBI and walked and stole a base back in the 4th. I'm sure he would love to add a base hit. And that's deep. Way back. And that's going to bounce off the wall. I thought that had a shot.
It did have a shot.
The stand-up double for Roman.
Race job right off the left field wall. Not too much further, he would have been in the cheap seat.
Yeah, I'd say he was a good 5 feet off of that. And that does not look good either. Looks like another pitching change here. Yorkovic is not going to get beyond those first 2 hitters with the single and a double. And now we've got another pitcher. This is going to be number 19.
Now this kid looks like Jim Lincecum with the haircut.
Yeah. This is Christian Fletcher, the freshman English major from York. This is his first appearance in a contest this year. Has not batted or pitched so far this season. Christian Fletcher, the freshman. So it is 7-5. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Substituting pitcher for Penn State York, number 19, Christian Fletcher.
Armstrong has reached base 3 times. Sacrifice fly back in the 4th, walked and scored in the 2nd and the 3rd. Armstrong, I mean, of all of Central Penn players today, I gotta say I'm most impressed with Armstrong. The fact that he's caught both games, which is just inherently very rare. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's thrown runners out. He's, directed traffic on the field. He's, stolen bases, sacrifice flies, getting on base, couple of rope shots. I mean,
played a complete game today.
Very, very impressed with Armstrong here at the catcher position. And I'll tell you, frankly,
For Central Penn, number 22, Stephen Armstrong.
Frankly, I am very, very impressed overall with the Knights. Again, I know things didn't quite go their way in the first game, but this shows some resiliency here. Very impressed with the way they've played here thus far. I have to couch that.
Yeah.
Thus far here in the 2nd game.
Here we go, Fletch.
So Fletcher with his first official pitch of the season. See what he's got.
See how he's greeted.
High and tight. Armstrong takes. It's low. And with only 1 out, I mean, I guess you're trading a run for an out here, but I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that.
Right. Well, if you can get a 3-run lead.
And that's low. Quick 3-0 count here for the Knights. Fletcher has not gotten a strike thus far. And that walks him on 4 pitches.
That'll load the bases.
And this is exactly what Zach Boyer was looking for. Again, reached on an error in the 3rd, a single in the 2nd, flies out to right in the 4th. But Boyer drove in some runs. I'm going to be very interesting to see how the official scorer scored that play. If you remember back to that interesting play in the 3rd inning where 3 runs came across what should have been an out. And frankly, that's the difference in this game, those multiple errors on that one play by Penn State York.
Yes.
And that's going to go right back up the box. That should score 1. Here comes another runner. Roman's going to score. Hoover nearly got picked off on 3rd there, but all is well.
Now the Knights have opened up some breathing room.
And that's exactly what Boyer wanted to do, the 2-run double, and that's going to make it 9-5.
The ball was roped.
Now batting is your 3rd baseman, number 33, Adam Hoover.
And Hoover steps in. A single and a sacrifice earlier with an RBI, 1 for 2 on the day. And that one's foul. Armstrong on 3rd, Boyer on 2nd. The RBI, 2 RBI double for Boyer. And that's outside.
Out of his hand.
That is deep, but should be caught. And I think Anderson was just playing it safe there, which I don't blame him.
That throw was pretty up the line. But you do have to draw a throw there. You don't necessarily want to get thrown out going home.
Yeah, certainly not for the last out of the game when you have second and third.
Number 30, Randy Montero.
So Montero 1 for 3 on the day with a single back in the third inning. Big hook there for Fletcher. Nicest pitch we've seen from him thus far.
A sweeping curveball.
Yeah, that was something special. The heater backs him up. Montero certainly doesn't mind swinging the bat, which I give him credit for. Can Fletcher get out of this inning? (9-5) here. The Knights have opened up a 4-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Zerbe will just have to come out 1, 2, 3, and this contest will be over. Easier said than done, of course.
Another sweeping curve. That one right out of his hand. I don't think the hitter was fooled. I think his eyes just got very big.
I know mine would if I was in the box.
Mine too.
For something like that. Big cut, and Fletcher strikes him out. That's not before the damage is done. The Knights push 3 across here in the bottom of the 6th to extend their lead to 9-5. Zerbe will come out to close this game out and split the doubleheader today.
Interested in a healthcare career? Central Penn offers 2-year programs in physical therapy assistant, occupational therapy assistant, and medical assistant, as well as a bachelor's program in healthcare management. For more information, visit our website at www.centralpenn.edu.
Well, I have to say that Zerbe has been unbelievably impressive in here. So he came in about halfway through the 4th inning to relieve Miller. Miller was a bit shaken when he had come out and, he was in the dugout for that long 5-run half inning in the 3rd. He came out and just didn't have it. Zerbe has not allowed a run. Frankly, has been impressive. He has allowed a couple of base runners, but definitely a walk and a single, but that's really it. Unbelievably impressed with Zerbe's relief appearance here, and definitely could be something out of the bullpen. I think that's part of what, again, I had Coach Stern on the Nightly News podcast before the season started, just trying to get a sense of some players to watch out for, some strategy. And one of the things that 100% he said was, even over the last 2 seasons, our Achilles heel was our pitching. He said it is the exact opposite. He said between Dalton Kohler and Zerbe, there are some excellent pitchers on this team, and he believes that is now the Knights' strength, where it had been a massive weakness over the past 2 seasons.
Well, only need 3 more outs to nail down this victory here in Game 2.
You got to give Zerbe a ton of credit how he's battled here in this game. And 1 pitch, 1 out. And you'll notice they moved Stevens over to first base as a defensive replacement for Finke. Don't know to what extent that will matter, but just as a point of reference.
Carter Williams.
The 1-3 put out, 1 pitch, 1 out. That's exactly what Zerbe wanted. Unfortunately, though, they are dealing with the heart of the order. Bayman just got out, but Williams here. So can Zerbe navigate this?
He just needs 2 outs to go. But he's got to be careful.
Well, we saw the exact same situation happen a few times thus far, and all he needed was 1 more out, and that's just not quite what happened. So.
Yes, sir.
Big cut there. changeup looked like there for Zerby. That wasn't his full velocity. I think that was partially what fooled Williams there.
Yeah, he definitely pulled the string on him there.
Quick 1-2 situation. Right up the middle. And that'll be a base hit. Keeping the Penn State York alive. McNew has struggled today with a strikeout, a fly out, and a pop out. 0 for 3 here in game 2.
That was a smoked ball back up the middle. Penn State refusing to go without a fight.
Are down by 4, but that runner on first. Nice pitch by Zerby. Just caught the outside edge.
Like a backdoor slider.
I'm
Or
very
curveball.
impressed with Zerby's repertoire today.
Definitely kept the hitters guessing.
Big strike there. Well, interestingly enough, Zerby will take home the victory here because Miller did not go the required 5 innings. Should the Knights close this game out? Poked it. It's going to be out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. What pitch does he have for him here the second time through? And this goes to your point earlier about not wanting to show him everything the first time around.
Exactly.
Is Zerby going to go, high and tight with the fastball, or is he going to throw it in the dirt with the
We're going
curve?
to see another off-speed pitch. Nope. Waste a fastball.
And you could tell Armstrong moved.
We might see an off-speed pitch here now. But he definitely doesn't want to get to a full play.
And Zerby
Works it full.
And this is where you start having a little concern. So they're saying a 2-2 count here, not a 3-2 count.
2 count.
And Zerby needs to tie his shoe. It's a 2-2 count. Big pitch here. It's going to be outside, runs the count full. Another big pitch here for Zerby. And that is going to go to the gap. And that gets down.
All the way to the wall.
McNew with the double, and he's waving him home. And there's going to be an out. Huge play again, trading a run for an out there.
Horrible base running decision to try to get to third on that. They're already in scoring position with only 1 out.
But that big,
But the Knights will take it.
yeah, absolutely. That big shot there will now make it 9-6. But
2 outs.
that second out there was just absolutely massive. To your point, I'm not really sure what the purpose was of moving him. I mean, either way, you're not really making it any better for you, but what do I know?
And they could have put a pinch runner in for him at second base.
And this could do it. Pop up behind in the infield, and that is going to do it. Well, Tom, I got to tell you, what a day this afternoon. Yes, the Knights dropped game 1 8-1, but are victorious here at FNB Field for our first broadcast of the year, 9-6. Colton Zerby came in relief for Miller, but you got to give the nod to the Nightly News Player of the Game, to Owen Zell. Owen Zell reached base 3 times today, had 3 stolen bases and 3 runs, was a dynamo on the base paths, and frankly, he is going to be, hopefully, our leadoff batter for the next several years of success. Well, I got to tell you, everybody, that is going to do it for our broadcast today. Of course, tune in next Monday when Tom and I will be back here at FNB Field, or if instead of tuning in, come down. It's a free afternoon of baseball. And I'll tell you what, if this is the way we play, this is going to be a bright season for the Knights as we go to 3-2 on the season, as the Penn State York drops to 1-5. All right, for my main man, Tom Davis, this is Paul Miller, and we'll see you on Monday back here at FNB Field. Till then,
Bye-bye.